Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a poor couple who longed for a child. After many years of waiting, the wife finally became expected. Their joy, however, was overshadowed by a peculiar craving she developed for a type of lettuce called Rapunzel, which grew in the garden of a wicked witch named Dame Gothel. The garden was surrounded by high walls, and no one dared to enter it. Desperate to satisfy his wife's craving, the husband sneaked into the witch's garden and stole some Rapunzel. The wife ate it and immediately felt better. But her craving only grew stronger. The husband returned to the garden once more, but was caught by Dame Gothel. She accused him of theft, but he pleaded for mercy, explaining his wife's condition. The witch softened and made a bargain. He could take all the Rapunzel he wanted, but in exchange, the couple must give her their child when it was born. Out of fear and desperation, the man agreed. When the baby girl was born, the witch appeared, named her Rapunzel, and took her away. Dame Gothel raised Rapunzel as her own daughter, and when the child turned 12, she locked her in a tall, isolated tower with neither stairs nor door, only a single window at the top. The only way to access the tower was by climbing Rapunzel's long, golden hair, which she let down at Dame Gothel's command. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Years passed, and Rapunzel grew into a beautiful young woman, completely unaware of the world outside her tower. She spent her days singing, brushing her hair, and dreaming of freedom. One day, a prince who was riding through the forest heard Rapunzel's enchanting voice. He followed the sound and discovered the tower. He watched as Dame Gothel called for Rapunzel and climbed up her hair. Once the witch left, the prince decided to try his luck. He called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And, to his astonishment, the golden locks descended. The prince climbed up and was met by the surprised and curious Rapunzel. They quickly fell in love, and the prince began to visit her every night, bringing her news of the outside world and plans for their escape. They devised a plan. The prince would bring a piece of silk each time he visited, from which Rapunzel would weave a ladder. However, their secret meetings did not remain secret for long. One day, Rapunzel, in her innocence, asked Dame Gothel why her dress was getting tight around her waist. Realizing that Rapunzel had been seeing someone, the witch flew into a rage. She cut off Rapunzel's hair and banished her to a desolate desert far away. She then waited in the tower for the prince. When the prince arrived that night and called for Rapunzel, Dame Gothel let down the severed braids. The prince climbed up, only to be confronted by the witch, who cursed him and pushed him from the tower. He fell into a thorny bush, which blinded him. Heartbroken and blind, the prince wandered through the forests and plains, surviving on roots and berries, and mourning the loss of his beloved Rapunzel. Years later, by chance, he wandered into the desert where Rapunzel lived. They recognized each other immediately. Overcome with joy, Rapunzel wept, and her tears fell into the prince's eyes, miraculously healing his blindness. Reunited, they returned to his kingdom, where they were married and lived happily ever after. As for Dame Gothel, she was never heard from again, and the tower crumbled into ruins, becoming a forgotten relic of the past. Rapunzel and her prince ruled wisely and well, and their story was passed down through the generations as a tale of love, resilience, and the triumph of good over evil.